And a massive wave of unrest is expected across the UK tonight. More than 100 far-right demonstrations and 30 counter-protests are planned. Officials there say the UK is facing, quote, one of the worst spates of violent disorders in the last decade. ABC's Patrick Reevell is following that story from London. And Patrick, these protests first started in response to a stabbing attack. So how did that lead to this growing unrest now?
Hi, Dan. Yeah, the UK is bracing for possibly more disorder tonight. As you say, there are fears that we could see more violence from these anti-immigrant protests that have been called around the country. We've seen lists online being circulated by far-right groups of refugee centres and of immigration lawyers' offices, and people being called to go there and being called to go there violently. And police have called up thousands of extra officers to potentially counter this. They say that it's very hard to predict how bad the violence will be, where it will be, but they are preparing for potentially more violence that we've seen for now breaking out in different places around the UK for around a week, really now. As you say, it began after this horrific stabbing in Southport at a children's dance class. But what we saw almost immediately was that far-right groups started exploiting that attack and spreading false information, claiming that it was carried out by an illegal Muslim immigrant. That was not the case, and with the suspect, the attacker, was born in the UK in Wales. But since then, we've seen it basically used as a grounds for calling these anti-immigrant demonstrations, and that basically have turned into a rampage, often racist, often Islamophobic. And so the fear is that we could see more of that tonight, Diane.
And Patrick, what are some of the major security concerns now, and what's being done to try to keep people there safe?
Yeah, the concerns, I think, are similar to what we've seen in many of these riots so far, which is where we see essentially people who go there planning to cause violence. We see people arriving in masks, people from far-right groups, but also local people who decide then to attack the police. In some places, we've seen them target specifically places related to immigration and to refugees. And the fear is that tonight we could see potentially even refugee centres attacked, that we could see immigration lawyers and their offices attacked. And the things that have been done are, so far, there's been a huge number of arrests. There have been hundreds of arrests already carried out in the past week. We've also seen very rapid moves to prosecute people. We saw the first 3 rioters from last week sentenced and convicted and jailed today in Liverpool. And the government is hoping that by prosecuting and arresting large numbers of these people involved and moving rapidly, they can try and deter people. They're hoping that might have an effect today. But for now, people are worried. We've seen already as well in parts of the country, people boarding up shops, fearing that they're going to see more violence in their area tonight as well, Diane.
Patrick Reevell, thank you.